What's the most illegal thing you got away with? Selling pills and getting pulled over with thousands in the car. Cop searched the car and didn't find them. Swore off that shit that day and looked at it like a second chance from some deity, because that would have been an easy 7 to 15 years in prison. Driving with a suspended license, I was young and stupid. I got pulled over, had my car towed, and was given a court date. I think here they usually give you a $1,000 fine and another year of driving prohibition. The day before my court date, the officer called me and said that I didn't have to go to court because the paperwork was not done correctly, and I was in the clear. When I was 19, I was dating a girl who told me she was 17 and turning 18 in a few weeks, so I didn't think anything of it. Turns out she had just turned 15. The cops told me that. But because she had been lying to her parents too, they didn't press charges. I'm now 29 and thank the makers every day that she is no longer a part of my life. I started dating a girl whom I met in a bar, assumed she was at least 18, the legal drinking age in that area. We dated for a while. She had told me she was a teacher. Yeah, she was in grade 12, we dated after she turned 18, off and on for a few years, very hot and cold, toxic relationship, our daughter is now 15, and it's been a battle for almost all of those years, with literally hundreds of dollars of thousands in child support and lawyer bills. Be smart out there, boys. So you know those machines in fast food places where you can fill your own cup with soda? I would go to this White Castle late at night. They usually just have 2 people behind the counter, and the soda machine is slightly around a corner. I bring multiple big empty gallon containers, take a funnel, and fill them all up. I have gotten at least 12 gallons of soda, 2 per night, absolutely free, and I don't plan on stopping. Hitting a car on I-91 while high on Xanax, going to buy weed in MA/RI, sideswiped a vehicle and didn't even realize it until I got pulled over 30 minutes later. Because me and my buddy were high off Xanax and hadn't smoked or drank, I basically said I was young, I'd never been in an accident, and I didn't know what to do. He didn't smell anything on us. They detained us for a minute and then brought us to a gas station and let us drive off. Only took about 30 minutes, I think. Crazy part is we're both black with dreads. Can't remember if Massachusetts police got us or Rhode Island police. We were coming from Connecticut. Federally? I refused to pay the tax stamp on a Texas-made suppressor, technically violating the NFA Act. This is due to Texas's HB 957, which was passed removing state assistance in prosecuting people who had those types of suppressors. So long as they were made in Texas and kept in Texas, I'd welcome the ATF to come and get me. It will be fun. I stole an Apatosaurus toy from my daycare when I was maybe 3 or 4. I walked out of the daycare, and in the car I asked where I should put the dino. My mom said in a box because she thought it was my toy that I had brought with me. I did that sometimes. Years later, when I told my parents, they laughed. I moved countries when I was 14, so I have imported stolen goods across the border. That might be the most illegal part. I still have it. Every time I hear a police car, I think they've found me. Got stoned in the archives room of an animal testing facility. You have to sign your name in and out and scan an ID. So we're in there, token away, when an alarm goes off. I get paranoid when I get stoned, 23 years sober. This was when I was a wee lad, so I'm sure the alarm is because of us. Some background info, my mother was the director of HR at this facility and was the one who got me the job, so we're all outside. I'm waiting for someone to put handcuffs on me and my family to disown me, when I come to find out the alarm was because of a fire in one of the chemical labs on the 2nd floor. I've never told anyone that story. Now I'm going to have to silence you all. I am a moron and accidentally smuggled a weed cartridge through an international airport. It was decriminalized in my state, but still, here in the US, it could have landed me in jail. I was 19 at the time, and when I realized I had forgotten to take it out of my bag, I was going through the metal detector and had a panic attack. I don't think TSA noticed me clam up as my bag passed through the X-ray screener. That felt like the longest 30 seconds of my life. They didn't catch it. Thank God. I used to eat an order of chips in the Uni Cafe while waiting for my actual food to be ready. If I finished all the chips before my food was done, I'd put the container down and didn't pay for them. Because if I can't eat a whole order of chips in the amount of time it takes you to throw curry on rice, we have an issue. Just got to my first duty station as a Marine. Went out drinking with my new unit, really just myself, another PFC, and a corporal. All of us are over 21, so they drink and I stay sober because I'm the new guy. At the end of the night, the CPL decides she isn't that drunk. Truth be told, she had sobered up, and that she will drive, not me as initially planned. She drives fine, and we end up at a red light on a left turn. It stays red for several cycles. Frustrated, the CPL decides, fuck it, I'm going, and pulls a U-turn. Right in front of a cop, we get pulled over, and the CPL realizes she lost her ID at the bar. So while we wait for the cop to walk up, she and I switch seats as subtly as possible. When the cop finally walks up, he asks for license and registration. He asks why I made a U-turn on red, and I respond that I'm new to the area, California, and back home in NC, after midnight, you could do that. He then asks me to step out of the vehicle, issues a field sobriety test, and a breathalyzer. Having not even had a sip, I passed. The cop then asks why it looked like the CPL and I switched seats, to which I replied we were trying to get the registration out. He then cuffed me and had me stand by the back of our vehicle. He went back and talked to the passengers, the CPL, and the other PFC, and thankfully they gave the same answer. He then uncuffed me, told me not to be a dumb hillbilly, or to pay attention, and led us on our merry way. I had a warrant out for my arrest for missing court and got stopped by the police. I told them my brother's details. I didn't have any ID. I got let go, and when I was leaving they said, "Tell your brother we're looking for him." I did eventually get caught, though. But I was buzzing at the time. 16, broke, there was a major gig across the city, friends couldn't cough up all the expenses, booze, pills, and thrills for a freeloader, so my crazy chain of events began with me walking into a liquor store, pulling a bottle of whiskey, and walking out straight into a taxi, and off the taxi, I walked like 2 miles, drinking whiskey from the bottle, hid the bottle in some alley, approached the gig entrance, pushed forward with the crowd, and next thing I know, I'm in. The worst part was hitchhiking back home, which was a pain in the ass, but let's just say drunk people always help a fellow bluemate. I still believe to this day that some deity was watching over me. Got busted for underage drinking while I was at college because I tried to leave a party right after the cops showed up. Some gung-ho newbie cop was super aggressive with me, asking for my ID, and then someone else from the party jumped the backyard fence onto the roof of the house next door. Then the senior officer shows up, says he's got this, and writes me a ticket, saying I'll need to show it to the university to take a course on why drinking is bad. I went to my college office, and the receptionist was like, "Yeah, there's no info on you, you can't take the class." My ticket disappeared. I stole my neighbor's dog. He was abusing him, and the dog kept breaking into my yard for water. So, all of a sudden, that dog disappeared and went to a very sweet owner. Most illegal would probably be doing a ton of coke for a year. Excluding crimes I didn't know were illegal at the time and have since forgotten about. Probably stealing a bag of chips or a chocolate bar or something like that. And it's from a store where I often just tell them to keep whatever change they're giving back because I don't really have a use for these random coins anyway, so I've probably paid back whatever I owe in full several times over by now. Most illegal thing I'll admit to was actually getting away in a pursuit. I was driving a pretty sleepy car that could pass as a normal mom sedan, doing about 115 or so on the highway, when a cop about a quarter mile back flipped on his red and blues, so I opened the throttle, since I was going to jail for that speed anyway, got up to about 150 miles per hour as soon as I saw the lights, and pulled off the highway. He had lost visual on me by this point. I ran the red light at the end of the off-ramp, and then stopped at the next red light, because who would stop at a red light if they were running from the cops? About 5 to 10 seconds later, the cop pulled up at the light next to me, his lane was green, stops, stares at me menacingly, then takes off rather quickly to go find the guy who just ran from him, me. I was young and wouldn't do that sort of thing now, and I don't know if it was just dumb luck or a dumb cop, but that moment's still in my highlight reel of life. Accidentally brought a prohibited substance into a country that has long prison sentences, with the death penalty for possession and trafficking. It was a tiny amount, but I nearly shit myself when I was unpacking and saw it. I had just forgotten to take it out when I left. I'm much more careful now. When I was 13, I keyed my English teacher's car and put epoxy in her locks near the end of the year. Still don't regret it to this day. Old racist twat deserved that much at least. Made my life hell that year. I'm keen to know, what did she do that warranted this? A bunch of racist and other disparaging comments throughout the year. And generally publicly humiliating me in class a few times. I mean, I was already picked on for various reasons in prior years at that school, but she made things worse. A few of her insults made the rounds among kids in my grade. It was hard enough being hard of hearing, fat, smart, and brown in a 99% white school. I made a complaint once early on, but nothing happened, and it got worse for a little while. So I didn't bother trying again. She was just a piece of shit human being to me at least, and made me feel like shit all the time. So I don't feel bad about vandalizing her car. I hoped it cost her some grief. I once connected someone who was selling a handgun to a recently released violent felon who needed one. For what it's worth, the guy hasn't reoffended and is still working as a mechanic 13 years later. Another time, I was in high school and walking home from my summer job when I saw a truck hit someone riding their bike and drive off. The victim took a really hard hit and slid face down across the pavement. I ran over to the guy and his face was all fucked up. I didn't recognize him until I saw his backpack. Varsity athletes at my high school got special backpacks that had their name etched on it, along with patches showing what sports they were varsity in. When I saw who the backpack belonged to, I realized it was a guy who had bullied me for years. There were always jabs about my race, which I didn't mind, but this guy was on another level. I left him there as he was moaning and struggling to breathe. He eventually survived, and they caught the truck driver a few days later. I didn't tell a soul. This isn't expressly illegal in the United States, but it is in many other countries. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you in the next video.